Let's begin.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my show. I'm Dr. Lot from Acupuncture is My Life. Now there's been a huge demand on the Acupuncture is My Life app for me to discuss influenza and acupuncture now that we're headed into flu season. If you do not have the app, simply go to the Google Play Store and download it to gain access to free telehealth with Acupuncture is My Life, as well as learn more about acupuncture, Chinese herbs, Eastern nutrition, and digestive enzymes. And also hold private chat sessions regarding any ailment either you or a loved one may have and would like to know how you may benefit from acupuncture. Now back to the flu and its symptoms. Now the more common symptoms of the flu are fever or feeling of feverishness with chills, cough, sore throat, runny or stuffy nose, muscle or body aches, headaches, fatigue, and sometimes vomiting and diarrhea. The flu can cause mild to severe illnesses or an illness and can in some cases lead to death. Some individuals can develop complications such as pneumonia, which also can be life-threatening. In this episode, I'd like to focus on fever as a symptom of the flu. Now, most of us are familiar with the flu, as just about all of us have experienced a fever stemming from just days after birth to present. And we've experienced fevers for a myriad of reasons. Now, a fever is basically a condition that occurs when the temperature of your body becomes higher than average. Now, that temperature being above 100.4 degrees, which usually suggests that an individual may be experiencing some sort of infection. Now, there are a number of other symptoms that tend to accompany a fever, including the ones I've stated as symptoms of the flu. Now, besides the flu, a fever can be caused by disorders such as inflammation, bacterial gastroenteritis, pharyngitis, malaria, sometimes a cold, arthritis, drug use, and even HIV, to name a few. Now, a fever should not be viewed as a potential end of the world because some of us tend to go overboard with it. You see, when your immune system raises your body's temperature, it's utilizing one of its defense mechanisms to fight off infection, making the body less safe of an environment for bacteria or viruses to thrive. So it's not the end of the world. Simply look at a fever as an alarm mechanism that something is wrong and your body's attempting to correct the situation, although being proactive and maybe paying your primary care physician or acupuncturist a visit may be a wise choice as well. And when it comes to traditional Chinese medicine, a fever can be as a result of an exterior pathogenic factor or internal organ dysfunction and also exhaustion of vital substances in the body. But when it comes to the flu, we'll focus on fever as a result of the body having been invaded by, let's say, an exterior pathogenic factor. Now, a fever in traditional Chinese medicine is caused by what is considered as epidemic toxicity, where fever can serve as an indicator for the progression of the flu. Now, during the early stages of a fever, there is usually a version of cold. Now, a fever is more prominent than a version of cold, and acupuncturists can consider the virus as a warm febrile pathogenic factor, with the pathogen still existing at the protective chi level. Now, for an acupuncturist, it's best to treat the virus at this stage and not at a more deeper like internal level. Now, when fever worsens, there would no longer be an aversion to cold, and the virus is now transforming into heat and eventually affect lung qi, causing the failure of lung qi to disperse. Now, in this case, a patient would experience, let's say, high fever with thirst, chest congestion, and productive cough. Now, with the progression of this disease, one can experience an intractable fever that's high in temperature, possibly with loss of consciousness, in which an acupuncturist would know that the pathogen has now invaded to the nutritive level and affect the heart's orifices, which is critical. Now, in Chinese medicine, fevers as a result of this pathogen, that being the flu, can affect its character. You see, the more common seasons of catching the flu are usually during winter and spring seasons. Now, let's take, for instance, catching the flu during the late summer. One would experience a fever that is recessive because, in this case, the epidemic form of heat combined with seasonal dampness. Now, if one were to become infected with this pathogen in the early or midsummer, the fever would be high with thirst, perspiration, and shortness of breath because, in this case, the epidemic form of heat combined with summer heat. Now, if one were to become infected with this pathogen, again, that being the flu, during the fall, they would experience fever with dry mouth, dry throat, and nasal congestion because, in this case, the epidemic form of heat combined with dryness. Now, I had an interesting case this past flu season where I diagnosed a patient as having pathogenic heat affecting both the protective and the chi levels. The patient presented with fever and aversion to cold, red face, thirst, and signs of irritability. He stated his urine was dark and he was experiencing body aches and cough. His tongue appeared as red, and after performing a pulse diagnosis, I was able to determine that I had to release the pathogenic factors from both the protective and chi levels. So I needle points on his lung, large intestine, stomach, and his Sanjiao channels, as well as points on his governing vessel. He responded very well to 3 treatment sessions along with care from his primary care physician. Now, I've seen him twice over the past 3 weeks because he's concerned about the upcoming flu season. He's enjoying his acupuncture treatment sessions and states his energy is up and he feels ready for the coming flu season. Now, if you, again, or a loved one, would like to chat about chat with Acupuncture's My Life regarding the flu virus, simply go to the Google Play Store and download the Acupuncture's My Life app to engage in private chat sessions regarding the flu and how acupuncture can be a benefit to you. Now, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And until next time, acupuncture is my life. What's yours?